Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm reading for Taurus energy and I've got a few different messages. The funny thing about your reading is my crown chakra is like totally awake, like really feeling like very heady, very lit up on my crown chakra. So it's like the intuition is there, but the reading was a little bit hard to understand. So I do feel like this is a message for you where it's like it's hard for you to understand something. You've had to kind of it's almost like a resistance to processing something, especially processing something emotional, trying to avoid it, but then not being able to avoid it, going in deep and coming up afresh with this kind of new perspective. It's like a realization that you're having, a realization and a process. So I'll talk you through what I do have. It's a little bit hard for me to grasp, but you know, I'm sure you'll understand your own situation better than I do anyway. I'm just going to run through some of the messages. So yeah, this kind of balloon head business, like my head feeling like it's being pulled off. I just saw 111 on the timestamp. I don't know, balloon head, it kind of makes me think of like a stent. It's a medical operation. Sometimes the blood vessels that run to your brain, you have to have like it's like, I think it's called a stent. It's like a little tube with a balloon on the end, and it kind of increases the width of the blood vessel. I think, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not a doctor. Isn't that like off a TV show? I don't know, it just popped into my head. I'm not a doctor. So yeah, I'm not a doctor, but it's I think that's an actual procedure. So I don't know if somebody's having something like that. This thing about your head coming off as well, like it's making me think of Return to Oz and like the evil queen from with Return to Oz who has like all the heads. So there could be something in that for somebody. I am getting this kind of like, obviously we've got very stormy weather at the moment, especially in the UK where I am. And then this kind of like storm change thunder moon card tells me really collectively we're going through periods of change, periods that feel like periods of upheaval, periods of a little bit of drama. There's stuff going on astrologically that's kind of saying this as well. So if you want to look at like what Mars and Venus and Capricorn and Pisces and Uranus are up to, they're kind of making trines and squares and sextiles and things like this. It's kind of a bit dramatic. It's kind of affecting everybody. Yeah, just this kind of stormy weather energy that's coming through. So I don't know if people have been making jokes about Wizard of Oz and things like this. Has that kind of feel to it a little bit. Also this kind of, I'm hearing out of body experience. I channeled the song Hallucinogenics by Lana Del Rey. I think Libra got this last week. Tripping on hallucinogenics. I burnt my finger. My cigarette burnt my finger because I forgot I lit it. Sorry, again, there's something about your head. Like, I don't know if it's like 6th and 7th chakra, my ear, you know, that feeling of like being underwater. It's like pressure in your head and you can't hear properly. I've kind of got that. So I don't know, maybe somebody's just got a head cold. It's left them feeling a little bit woozy or something. I pulled these cards last night for you. And the things that I was getting last night, I'm also getting right now in this reading. So it's definitely your energy. I've not had it outside of the reading at all. So there's also something about fire, like fire problems. So not only did I get that song, my cigarette burnt my finger because I forgot I lit it. When I'm trying to light the joss stick and the candle, again last night and now when I'm recording this in the morning, I had trouble lighting things. The fire wouldn't stay lit. It wouldn't light. I was like this with the box of matches. I don't normally have that kind of issue with it. So I got maybe somebody's pilot light on the boiler could be going out. They could be having trouble keeping something lit. It could be something about passion as well. Fires and candles and flames and lighting things can be like that Ace of Wands energy, keeping the fire lit. I got a really random message about snakes under the bed for somebody. I don't know what that means. Be careful with fire. I got the message, be careful with fire. And Aries had the song Firestarter. So you could be Aries, Taurus cusp. You could be dealing with an Aries. I'm seeing 444 on the timestamp. my left hand and my left wrist felt really weird. I don't know, maybe somebody's had some sort of injury to the left hand or wrist, and it's like when the weather's cold it kind of plays up. It just had a really weird feeling to it. It kind of felt like inside it felt like bones, you know, or tendons or something like this. When I was pulling the cards out, the cards were acting really quite strangely. I was getting too many cards, and sometimes the cards weren't making sense. So I was putting the cards back in, and I got the message, don't try to control the cards. So I feel like this was a message for you. Don't try and control the cards. Don't try and... It's almost like a resistance. I'm really, definitely with this card, you see the way she's pushing against that rock. Definitely getting a kind of resistance energy from you. A resistance to something. A resistance to learning a lesson. A resistance to change, a resistance to transformation. Yeah. Okay. I also had a vision, and it was very, very personal. So if this is your situation, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be intrusive. I don't really have control over the images and things that I'm shown. I saw I'm going to describe him as a boy. He may have been a man, but he had a very, very boyish look to him. He wasn't a young boy. He was an adult, right? But he was very, very slim, very, very slim, very slight. And he had shoulder length brown hair. And he was sat on the edge of a bed, and he was putting on a corset. He had like something covering his nipples, and he was putting on this corset. And my view, I was slightly above him, and the energy was very, very gentle. He was a man. I'm going to call him a boy. He was slightly effeminate. Again, gender doesn't really apply in my readings, but I have to be able to describe what I'm seeing. So he was slightly effeminate and very, very, very gentle. There was a little bit of sadness, and I felt a protective energy towards him. I felt like affection and protection. It didn't feel sexual, even though he was put on the edge of a bed putting on a corset. It felt a little bit more parental, and very, very loving, very gentle. The need to, because he was so delicate, I had this need to nurture him, to protect him, I didn't want him to experience sadness, was my energy. So I don't know who that's for. It's a very specific, very personal message, but it's for somebody. Right. I also channeled shortly after this the song Crazy for You by Let Loose, which I didn't remember the video to, but I went and looked it up. And there's the groom in that video had a very similar look. He was very, very slim, and he had this kind of shoulder length brown hair. So I do feel like that's a message for somebody. Crazy for you, there's nothing I wouldn't do. So I feel like somebody feels that way about somebody. Okay, so you're reading then. What's going on? You've got transformation twice. Now, I think this is the death card in this deck. And I'm sensing somebody's having some sort of ego death. This is what this feels like, the resistance to the ego death, the almost like dark night of the soul with the darkness here. I think somebody's having some kind of dark night of the soul, this kind of transformation energy. Empress here as well, again, this mothering energy. A rite of passage, perhaps, here with the standing stones, a rite of passage. We have this kind of on this darkness, we have this pathway, and here on this rock bottom card, we see where two pathways join and meet at the bottom there. So I do feel like somebody has some kind of path that they're on. It does feel like it's a fated path. It does feel like, again, with this don't control the cards, it feels like really resisting something, really pushing back against something that's almost like rolling in. It's almost like it's like that tower moment approaching, because I always say, like, the universe tries to teach us lessons. It tries to get us on a certain path. And sometimes it leads us on a path that we think, why did the universe bring me here? Why did the universe teach me this lesson? You know, the universe is meant to be protecting me. Why am I going through this tough period? But it is actually part of the lessons, and it is part of the protection. Kind of like that Saturn energy of like the tough love, like the tough father energy. So it's ultimately like the universe can see the bigger picture. The universe can see the ultimate good at the end of it. So sometimes we go through these trials and tribulations and tough periods that we're very, very resistant to, because there is a lesson to be learned in there, and there isn't a final outcome that comes from it, where we're stronger, where we're more empowered, where we've built up resilience. So well, I've lost my train of thought slightly, sorry. So it does feel like when the universe wants us to do something and we resist, that's when we have the tower moments. That's when, we get the rug pulled out from underneath us. It's like jump or be pushed energy. The universe being like, are you going to jump, or are we're going to push you? And it's almost like, as that tower moment, I'm seeing this as almost the tower moment, or a lesson or something. As it pushes in, it's like all this lightning is kind of, and the choppy waves, it's like symbolic for me of the tower moment. It's like you can't resist it. You're going to have, it feels like, Taurus, you've got to the point where it's unavoidable. Something's unavoidable. It's like it's gonna push you in the water. It's gonna. So the way I'm seeing it, you see how she's kind of like pushing back here, and the waves are here. I'm almost seeing this as like a rolling ball. So it's like it's gonna roll, and you're gonna roll under with it. So it's almost like you can't keep your balance any longer. You're gonna fall in. You're gonna have that deep dive, and it's an emotional deep dive, I want to say. So then it goes into this energy of like, so just move this. So just to kind of show you the similarities here, you can see here where she's kind of balancing now on this orb. So she's learnt to stand up on it. So it's almost like this trial and error, or this this learning process. So as this ball's kind of rolling, you're trying to balance on it. You're trying to figure out how to get your balance. Do you see? It's like this, right? Is the way that I'm seeing it. So sometimes it's like, sometimes you're going to go under, sometimes it's going to drag you under, and sometimes you're going to be on top, almost like the Wheel of Fortune card, which is actually in the underlying here on this deck. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. So I do feel like maybe it's some kind of like emotional, logical roller coaster that you're going through, where you're going through these emotional periods, and then you're going through a processing period, emotional period, processing period. Do you see with this topsy-turvy energy? So it's also in this card here where it came out in reverse. So it's like the water's down here. I just ruined my nail varnish. The water's down here and the sky's up here, but it came out for you like this, where it's like this, like the skies below and the waters above. Really interesting as well. My son was watching a Minecraft video this morning where the world was upside down. Like the whole world was like topsy-turvy, and they were having to negotiate it. So I do feel like that you're going through this period where it feels like everything's upside down, everything's topsy-turvy. Even like this card here where you're gaining a new perspective. Like the Hangman card is a card about being upside down, seen from a different angle. This card here as well, where it's like what's up, what's down. It's got this feeling of like not knowing which way's up, or feeling like you're almost in a like a spin cycle, like the sky's up, the water's up, the sky's down. And even here in this card as well, it just keeps on showing itself. It's because to me, this is air, right? Air and lake. But to me, the horses here always represent the ocean. Horses in the sea are kind of horses are a metaphor for the sea and for waves. So to me, this is like almost like an ocean wave, and yet it's air. So it's like the waters in the sky. So with this kind of topsy-turvy energy, what's brought you here? What's brought you here? It could be a romantic relationship, perhaps something, a new passion, with the Lovers and the Ace of Wands. Feelings for somebody that sparked new emotions inside you, or new feelings inside you that perhaps you hadn't felt before, and it has given you this topsy-turvy energy of it turning your life upside down. It's like things, the thing with this butterfly energy and this transformation, it's like there's no going back. It's like once you experience something, once you change, once feelings activate inside you and you change as a person, and you realize there's something that you want that perhaps you didn't want before, it does have this impact of turning your life upside down, especially perhaps if, you know, having this, being with this person or having this thing that you're extremely passionate about. And again, it's new with it being an ace, especially if you feel like it's going to, you know, turn your life upside down. It's going to start this spin cycle process. But I want to say you're already in it. There's no resistance to it, or there is resistance to it, but there's only so long that you can resist this, because it's like a fated path. So again, it's like Taurus, don't try and control the cards. This is your journey. I've got this feeling of like, feeling like you were being guided, feeling like you were being guided by the stars, following a certain path, and then having a lot of confusion. It's like all of a sudden the stars go out and you're left in this darkness energy where it's like, well, I don't know. I see myself there. I don't know. Like even the moon is like this blackout energy. Like I knew where I was going. I was navigating by the stars, and now we've got this like long dark night energy, long night of the, or dark night of the soul energy, where it's like you feel abandoned. You feel like the universe has abandoned you. All those markers that you were following, all the landmarks, you can't see them anymore. It's just, it's got this feeling of like, oh my god, they're both 40 as well. There could be something, and I'm seeing it's the pause button on my, I'm seeing the pause button on my video, but it looks like the number 11 all of a sudden. So it's like, I don't know, 40 and 11 could be significant numbers for you, and I've only just noticed that double 40. So yeah, feeling like the lights have gone out, feeling like your guidance system's gone out. What's interesting, and I didn't see this before, I've only just picked up this card now, underneath that is faith. So it's like faith, continuing to hold on to some kind of faith or belief, even though you feel like you've been abandoned. So yeah, feeling like it's almost like being led into a brick wall. It's like that path led you into a brick wall. So you felt like you were being guided somewhere, and then like you couldn't get through, or you felt like you were stuck between a rock and a hard place. It was like there's no good option here. I want to say that you probably can actually break through that rock bottom, or like either like maybe two paths are going to meet in the middle, like you're going to meet somebody else at rock bottom, and there's a reason why you're there. There's something at rock bottom that you're meant to learn. Okay, that's an interesting message. So what I'm getting now is it's like hitting rock bottom, like hitting the ground hard. I'm hearing smack on your face. So like really, I feel like hitting rock bottom in terms of like depression, or like it's got this nowhere else to go energy to it. Like I just, like, I've hit the ground hard and I'm not running. I've got nowhere to run. I've hit the ground hard and I've got nowhere to run. So it's like feeling stuck. It's almost like a bottomless pit, feeling really, really stuck. It could be depression or something like this, especially next to darkness. Maybe like oubliette. I got that reference, helping hands. It's a reference from Labyrinth, which has come up actually. This is the 4th time references to Labyrinth have come up this week. Yeah, 4th time. And I, in one of my readings, I had helping hands, you know, we're helping hands, you know, and being at the bottom of that oubliette, but then she does get out of it. So what I'm getting anyway is like, say this is like a bottomless pit, you can't get out, and then this is why the water's important. So this it's almost like, as well, like, you know, Indiana Jones, like the walls are closing in on you. It's like you're definitely feeling some sort of pressure, almost like when you know, crush coal and it becomes a diamond. Because again, even this card as well, with like it's almost like the, what's it called? The oyster shell is like this crushing energy. So this pressure, this crushing, it could be like pressure from work, pressure from life, like just the world closing in on you. It's even like her hands, right? It's like she's crushed something in her hands and now it's transformed into something else. So this crushing energy, it's like it's forcing you into an emotional space, I want to say, because you've got all this energy about being up on this rock. So you've got this 7 of fire here, which is defensive. It's trying to get to the high ground. So again, maybe it is stormy weather for you. You've literally had to move to high ground because like the area you're in is going to flood. Could be something like that. But it's like this unicorn's up on this rock. And again, it looks very unstable. It looks like it's almost struggling to stay up there. It looks like it could topple off at any moment, right? It's like it could, like this could easily turn into this energy, like so easily. And then this card here, where she's up on this rock. This card here where she's balancing up on this ocean. This card here where she's kind of like up on a platform. Maybe it's something about having some sort of platform. And here again, she's up on that rock. So, and there's rock bottom. Rock bottom. So there's something about the water draining. You see, it's like the water's drained away or the water filling up again. So I'm really feeling like the resistance for you is the resistance to being in an emotional space, because I do feel like this card here is a card about emotional disappointment. Emotional disappointment. The 5 of Cups is like, things didn't work out, relationships didn't work out, situations didn't work out. There's disappointment, there's feelings of loss, there's feelings of grief, maybe Greece is a thing, grief. But she's on this rock, very Little Mermaid energy as well. I've been getting the Little Mermaid quite a bit as well. Like she's missing out. It's like she can't be, I want to be where the people are, right? It's like the boat sailed without her, the ship sailed without her. So this feeling of like missing out, missing an opportunity, which is also coming through, I want to say in this card here, the 4 of Water, which again is this card about missed opportunity. This card is like, I'm not interested in anything that's on offer, so I'm going to not take anything. But the 4th cup, or the pearl in this case, is like the Ace of Cups. It's unconditional love, or you know, something new that's meant for you. It's being brought in by the universe. So I'm getting this kind of resistance again, because the 4 of Cups is a resistance energy of saying, it's kind of having your arms crossed and sulking. I always say it's you taking the ball in card. You know, when kids are playing football in the street and you know, one of them, like, you know, say one of them like gets upset about something, you know, maybe a decision went against them, and they're like, well, it's my ball, I'm going to take it, I'm going to go in with my ball, and then none of you can play. It's that kind of energy. It's sulking. It's, well, do you know what, if I can't have it, no one will. Or, do you know, I'm not interested, like things didn't work out, I'm not interested anymore, I'm not playing it anymore. It's that kind of energy. So yeah, but you took your ball in, but now you're missing out, right? Now you're missing out. Now you're lonely. You're isolated, especially with the Solitude card in reverse. In the upright, it can be productive. In the reverse, it's like you're going crazy. You're going crazy on your own. You need social people around you. You need company. You need friends. You need people to talk to, because yeah, you're getting in your own head too much. Again, with the 9 of Air, it's like you're getting in your own head too much. So I want to say, with all the water energy, it does feel like an emotional disappointment, possibly something where you felt out of your depth, or over your head, or overwhelmed. Again, probably tying it into whatever this was for you. It does have this energy of like, well, why am I here then? Like, I took a deep breath, I took a deep dive, I got to the bottom of the lake. It's funny because I had this in one of my visions as well. I think I talk about it in Aries' reading. I've got to the bottom of the lake, I've sat on this rock, I've waited, and nobody came. You know, the ship passed me by. So, but now I want to follow the ship. I want to be where the people are, but I can't, right? I'm the Little Mermaid. I don't have the legs. I can't be on land. So then I suppose the Little Mermaid analogy does work, because it's like, then she has legs, right? Then she has legs. You know, the Ursula's sea witch gives her legs, but, you know, takes away her voice. And it's like, okay, I've got to learn to stand. I've got to learn to walk. Could be like learning to walk in heels energy as well, that kind of energy. So like feeling like, you know, it being in a spin cycle, feeling like you keep going, you know, you keep falling off, you keep going in the water, kind of makes me think of like a, 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 like kung fu movies, right? Where they're balancing on something, they're balancing on a log, and the log rolls and then they fall in, but it's like, I've got to get back on that log. I've got to learn how to keep my balance here. I've got to learn how to stand up. So she does, right? She's got, I want to say that I'm assuming this is you. I think you've got a lot of anxiety over this. There's also something as well about her fabric, about the material around her. Almost like, maybe it's like a boat capsizing as well. I remember when I went to a lake with school and we did kayaking, and one of the first things they taught you to do was how to roll. So if you accidentally go over, how do you roll back up again? How do you have that momentum? So they were teaching us to purposefully roll the boat over and get back up at the top, and also, you know, teaching us how to get out if we did go upside down, if we did capsize. So I don't know if it has this kind of capsize energy, where it's like this fabric. It could be your own dress perhaps, or your own clothing, or even something like the sail, but it's like the fabric kind of wrapping around you, and getting stuck in that. It does have a slight drowning energy to it, which is something that I was picking up on kind of in meditations, this feeling of drowning. So I don't know if somebody did have some kind of life or death experience, some kind of transformative experience, possibly again when they were younger. If it's metaphorical, it's just feeling like, it's almost like feeling like perhaps it's a symbolization of like wealth, right? Like having the big ball gown, but it not serving you. A little bit like if you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean, Elizabeth Swann. Is that her name, Elizabeth Swann? She's wearing that really tight corset and she can't breathe, and she falls into the ocean, but she's got this big dress on and it's all tangled up around her. So it's that kind of energy, but it's like in this moment of everything being upside down, everything being like your entire world being turned upside down, feeling tangled. It's a huge change of perspective. So again, it could literally be somebody's had a life or death experience, right? They had a vision, an epiphany in that moment. So yeah, some new perspectives, it's like a big ego death, a big change in perspective about what's actually important. So that it's like this thing rolls again. And I want to say that the water fills back up. So it's like you're down there in the darkness at rock bottom, but as the water comes in, now it's making me think of the cave analogy I get for Capricorn a lot, which is like this hard rock, like being hurt so much that your heart becomes like this hard rock, which is like almost impenetrable, like a fortress, right? And then, but for the longest time I've been getting for Capricorn, like the cracks started to appear and the water started to come back in, even though they were resistant to it. So you could be dealing with a Capricorn or have Capricorn in your chart, or it could just be something about earth signs, but it's like the water like starts to drip back in. And I want to say it's like, it's almost like you're at the bottom of this well, and as this well fills up and you start to, you can actually float to the surface. Do you see? Like you can actually float to the surface, and you can climb back out again. You see how like even the castle here, like let me just focus, the castle's like completely submerged there. So it does feel like this, like maybe because emotions are what got you to rock bottom in the first place, there's a fear of opening up to those emotions again. But it's like that is the change that has to be made. It's like the universe is trying to push you into that water so that you can learn from the experience, so that you can survive it, something like this. So then she does find her feet ultimately. She does find her feet, she does stand up, she does gain that balance. It makes me think of like when you're doing yoga. Sometimes if you're very unbalanced when you're doing yoga, and you have to build up those muscles to be able to hold the balance positions, sort of things like the tree pose, if you want to look up the tree pose in yoga, or various poses. But you have to develop those muscles to be able to stand, to be able to have that balance. So ultimately, because this is bravery as well, this is the bravery card, you do have to be brave. You do have to be brave to stand up, to regain your composure, to get back up on your feet after you've been knocked down, especially if it's a very, very emotional knocking down, an emotional rock bottom. That's probably the most difficult to get back up again. But then again, it's like getting the high ground, getting getting the balance back. And the beautiful thing, again, and what I want to say is the transformation that's being made here as we go into this completion energy, right? Finding the missing piece, completing something. It's whatever you found down there, like there's something down there in the water, there's a missing piece, right? And I want to say it's connected to what this pearl energy is. Now, I don't know what this pearl energy is for you, but she's got a pearl behind her and a pearl in her hand, and she's got these pearls around her and a pearl in her hand. So it's like, it feels like somebody's trying to give you a gift. Perhaps the universe is trying to offer you a pearl of wisdom, perhaps. So it's like that pearl of wisdom that I want to say you find at the bottom of the lake, you find at rock bottom, right? It's like that's where the pearl is. It's at rock bottom, almost like it's as I was in that vision, whereas at the bottom of the ocean, in this little bubble, waiting for somebody, perhaps somebody who never comes, right? The person didn't come in that vision, like, but there's a lesson to be learned in that. And it could be a very painful lesson, right? It could be something that you are resisting looking at. It could be that, you know, maybe a person's not for you, a person's not right for you. But I want to say it's more than that, and I'll come to that in the conclusion. But there is something. It's like finding the key, right? Finding the missing piece of the puzzle, finding the answer. But it's like you had to go back in the lake. You had to go back into that emotional space. You had to, you know, you had to explore that again, I want to say. So just noticing as well, like with if I focus the camera, can you see all the like the bubbles around her, and then it's like the these kind of like stars around, there we go, like the stars around this brain. It's like an epiphany. Again, it could be something about, and this is not something I would recommend doing purposefully, right? This is not what I'm saying to do. But sometimes when people do, when the brain is starved of oxygen for whatever reason, again, because I was getting this balloon head, right? So it could be somebody experienced the bends as well, or just something going on in the head where the head was starved of oxygen for a while, perhaps, you know, something to do with the blood supply to the brain with that stent energy. It's like when the oxygen supply was cut off, again, can you see it's like it's glowing around her head? It's like that's when this vision or this epiphany took place, when the brain was distressed, right? The brain was distressed, and that's when it's like the life flashed before their eyes, or, you know, they saw the truth, or they had a life or death experience, you know, a vision, an epiphany. And it's almost like it surrounds you now, like now that you're back up and out of it, it's almost like it surrounds you, very similar to Aries' reading. So then you've hit rock bottom, right? You've been in the darkest, you've been through the long dark night of the soul, you hit rock bottom, and now you're back up and you're standing and you can breathe again. And it's like those thoughts, these birds, right? These seagulls that are all around you, you know, who are part of the chaos, part of the panic, part of the distress, now become these very peaceful, very organized birds. So I want to say this is thoughts. Air and wings and birds can be to do with thoughts and information and the way the brain processes things. So it's like this panic, right? This sheer panic of being in the moment, of thinking, I'm about to lose control here. My life is going to change. And then coming back out of it on the other side. Even if there's emotional loss, emotional pain, but getting your thoughts in order. It's like whatever you did, whatever this change, this different perspective, this turbulent energy was, it's brought you to a very strong position here, because the Nine of Air is a card about bad mental health, anxiety, depression, you know, the most difficult kinds of things that our brain can do to us. It's like being overwhelmed by your own thoughts. But here she's not overwhelmed. She's got that composure. She's got that balance, right? She's got that equilibrium. And all her thoughts are now peaceful and balanced and coordinated. They're still there, but she's handling it better. And I want to say, because she's been very, very brave. So there could be something to do with overcoming addiction or addictive behaviors, just with hallucinogenics. It could be that somebody has perhaps repressed something emotionally, and they've perhaps hopefully under the right conditions, right, under some kind of mentor or physician or counselor, perhaps had like a regressive therapy session where, you know, these emotions have been re-experienced under some kind of medication. But it's by having the bravery to stop resisting and to actually jump in, to have that understanding that the universe is trying to get you back in the water. It has brought a new perspective here with this card, a new perspective, a lot of clarity and a lot of equilibrium. And if you are just going into this, if you're here, just know that when you come out on the other side, you know, if you're here and you're going into this dark night of the soul energy, as someone who's had a dark night of the soul, you know, you do come out on the other side, and you come out on the other side a lot stronger, a lot more empowered, a lot more capable, a lot more resilient. And you do have a new perspective where all the small things, they don't upset your equilibrium quite as much. So if you're going into it, you're going to be okay. Okay, just you're going to do it in your own way. You're going to experience it. It's your path, right? You're going to experience it in the way that the universe knows you need to experience it. And you will come out the other side and you will be okay. The sun will shine again, okay? And you're going to have some kind of epiphany. And the reading ends with this beautiful butterfly spirit, with this transformation card. And again, it's like that pressure, you know, the walls closing in on you. Like the pressure easing off, that the opening up. And it's like the transformation of you. Again, it feels like ego death. If you want to kind of Google ego death or dark night of the soul, feels like when it opens again, almost like phoenix energy. I always think this looks like a little phoenix in a hand there. I want to say that you stand tall, you've got that balance, you're proud of yourself, you have that strength within. I say about a Libra gets this quite often, talking about Capricorn's cave heart. Libra has the diamond heart. So to me, like Libra's diamond heart is forged under pressure, and it comes out stronger. It's like almost like what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, and that doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes what doesn't kill you gives you PTSD, which you have to go and deal with. But then you come out of that, right? You come out of the therapy, you come out of the PTSD with a lot of lessons. I got another, I want to say, yeah, it's Britney Spears Stronger as well. I haven't wrote it down, but Britney Spears Stronger was playing for me. I'm stronger than yesterday. You know, my loneliness ain't killing me no more. Now I'm stronger. Yeah, having a lot of facets. So yeah, there is a beautiful transformation taking place where, but I want to say it's a painful transformation. When a caterpillar, again, with this kind of like worm energy, like the tail, like the worm energy, turns into the butterfly energy, which is a higher vibrational energy, I imagine it's very painful for the butterfly, because the butterfly goes into this chrysalis. I always say as well, this is like the butterfly in the chrysalis energy, like, you know, it's like re-emerging. It goes into that chrysalis, and it completely breaks down, like every single cell. It transforms, it metamorphosizes into a completely different animal. So it completely breaks down to a cellular level. There's a book called Butterfly Soup that really stuck with me, Butterfly Soup. And then it rebuilds, it restructures into something that's magnificent and very, very unique. So but it does have those delicate wings as well. And this kind of diaphanous material here is kind of talking to me about the delicate, wet wings that kind of need to dry out a little bit in the sun. It's like here, right? Need to look at the beautiful imagery here. It's like you know, you need to spread those wings, you need to flex them a little bit, you need to rebuild those muscles perhaps. I can definitely relate to this in terms of, I don't think I have any Taurus in my chart, but I can definitely relate to this in terms of, I had long COVID. My mum died at Christmas, then I had long COVID, then I had what I think was food poisoning. So I've had this period of a lot of tests on my physical health, especially because mentally I feel like I'm here. I've got that balance, but physically, you know, I went back into work after having a good few weeks off, and I work on my feet. And after about after an hour, I was like, my leg muscles have kind of atrophied or like just degraded so much. My leg muscles are so weak, my legs are so thin, and I can't stand up for long periods of time anymore. I've been bedridden, I'm not used to it. So maybe this is like coming out of being bedridden and having to build those muscles again, and having the bravery, right? The bravery to learn to walk again. Perhaps somebody has had some kind of injury where you know, they've not been able to use their legs, they've got to learn to walk again. So I want to say your legs are going to be fucking stunning. You are going to be beach ready, beach body ready girl or boy or whoever, however you identify. Your legs are going to be gorgeous, okay? You're going to be beautiful. It's going to be hot girl summer, because you've got the bravery to regain that equilibrium, to fight. And part of that fighting is the resistance to something. But I want to say, when you allow that rock bottom, like when you hit that rock bottom, when it finally happens, like the only way is up, baby, right? You can rebuild. And I want to say as well, I want to be really, really clear. If you've gone through something very traumatic, if you've got something like PTSD, and you've gone through something that was, you know, clearly a life-changing experience for you, I do not want to make light of that, right? I haven't had your experience. Especially if you've had to have surgery, you know, like with the stent and things like this. If you've had something that was incredibly impactful like that, I've only had brief experiences of, you know, people I know who have gone through these kind of things, or like, you know, the experiences myself with COVID. It's you are incredibly brave. You've got the bravery card here. You are brave to be here today, right? Especially if you've been through this, right? Especially if you've been through this bit, right? The fact that you're still here today, the fact that maybe you're not still standing, right? Maybe you're not still standing. I still stand, but you're here, right? Just surviving, just that basic level of making it to the next day is incredibly brave when you're in this. So don't underestimate your own power, your own bravery, your own strength, because it got you here, right? You're stronger than yesterday. Ain't nothing but heartache. Your loneliness ain't killing you no more. Okay. For some of you, you've been resisting love. For some of you, you've been resisting a person. It could be that you understand that this person who's walked into your life, who feels like you've never felt anything like this before, like it's like you recognize the fact that it was going to be life-changing for you. Like if you went for it, if you chose love, because the Lover's card is card about choosing love in whatever form that is, right? It could be choosing to do something that you love, right? A passion project, or it could be a person. If you chose love, it would have turned your life upside down. It would have got you in this spin cycle energy. It's like a self-made tower moment almost. So having a strong desire for something, knowing something is divinely guided for you. This card is divinely guided. I think it's Archangel Gabriel on the Lover's card. I want to say that you closed off your heart. Again, you resisted going into that emotional space. You said, no, I'm looking the other way. I'm not going for this because I recognized how transformative this is, how much this is going to completely change not only the direction of my life, but who I am as a person. You can't go back. You can't go back. You have to have the transformation. You have to be the butterfly. So the song that randomized for you to clarify this reading was Never Enough by Lorne Allred, which is from The Greatest Showman. I'm trying to hold my breath. Let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. You set off a dream in me. Getting louder now. Can you hear it echoing? Take my hand. Will you share this with me? 'Cause darling, without you, all the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars that we steal from the night sky will never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough for me. So without you, it will never be enough for me. I could have everything. I could have the world at my feet. But without the person or the thing that I truly want, it's never going to be enough for me. I'm never going to have emotional satisfaction, because these two cards are not emotionally satisfied. So it could be that you've been searching for something your entire life, like searching for something to fill some sort of void within you, some kind of void within the heart space, where you could have been going for things, material possessions, status, again with this ego death energy. It's like you recognize that you could have everything, you could have the whole world at your feet, and it would never be enough, because the only thing that's going to unlock that heart space is the thing that's calling to your heart. You know what it is. Could be a person, could place, thing. It's a heartfelt choice. The heart wants what the heart wants, and there's only so much you can resist that, right? There's only so much you can push back against it because the universe is guiding you somewhere before that tower moment hits, before you hit rock bottom, before you realize that you're lonely. And I want to say that's the missing piece, the recognition that it's never going to be enough, because it's not the thing, the person, the place that you want. So I'm going to get you an advice card. What do I want to go for? Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with I'm going to stick with the Spirit Animal Oracle, I think. Look at that on my bottom. Sometimes life stings. And that's everybody. Everybody gets those stings, right? It may not be this deck. They may want a different deck. I did see another deck, also by Colette Baron Reed. If you want to know what decks I'm using, stick around to the end of the reading. I'll kind of show you them all. There you go. Freedom. Freedom is yours. Open to infinite possibility. Starfish story. I said it's like someone's reaching for the stars when what they need. Again, if you go back to Aries' reading, somebody's reaching for the stars, but what they actually need, that information, that knowledge, it's coming from the water, and they were looking in the wrong place. So I feel like there's a similarity here with Aries' reading. All the stars of 1,000 spotlights could never be enough. Stretched out, all the songs as well that come through in your reading should be down in that description box below. I do my best to try and remember them all and get them noted down. So go and check out that description box below. There'll be a few bonus songs down there as well that come through as like something you need to hear or advice. It doesn't have to necessarily be the full song. It may just be a line from a song or a specific image in a video. So do go and check those out. Spend a minute looking at those. There may be something really helpful in there for you. Stretched out on the beach, the starfish opens fully to the rays of the sun, to the power of potential. As you look out towards the horizon, do you open up to infinite possibility? Spirit is the source of opportunities beyond your wildest imagination and ensures endless possibilities are available. At this time, Starfish Spirit urges you to stretch past the limits of your everyday perception and comfort zone to dream of bigger things and imagine with even greater hope and faith. For miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to be filled with inspiration. This is a very fortunate sign that Starfish Spirit has come to remind you of your infinite potential. I want to say that I have experienced this myself. A few years back, I was at rock bottom. I was very, very desperate, and I made a plea to the universe, and it came from a very emotional place. Again, if you want to go back and watch Aries' reading, they had this card with this eye, which was the soul, and this was what I was saying. It was like a genuine, heartfelt plea to the universe, because you feel desperate. And I want to say that the universe did respond, and the universe responded in a big way, very, very clearly, to the point where I was asking, is this really happening? And there was a single flash of lightning in the sky, that kind of thing, where it was like, yes, the universe is here. I literally say, because what I do is I randomize songs on Spotify to get answers, and I'd go, is this really happening, or am I going crazy? And I'd randomize, and I'd get The Universe Is Here by Blur. So to me, I've had so much confirmation that, my dark night of the soul, and I did go through a dark night of the soul. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I remember that I can't eat, I can't sleep, there's no doubt I'm in deep. It kept on kind of playing in my head. I was completely confused, and it felt like that spin cycle energy of just complete confusion, of not knowing which way was up anymore, of doubting myself, almost like gaslighting. The universe was gaslighting me, it felt like. And you kind of follow the signs, and you follow the path, and you do everything that the universe is telling you to do. And yet, and I want to say that the paths that they led me on, in hindsight, following the universe's advice, even though it took me through painful periods, it made my situation better, and it made me a hell of a lot stronger. Like, my own inner equilibrium to withstand things is incredibly strong now. So I want to say sometimes the universe does that. Sometimes the universe shines a star, shines a beacon to lead you into something, and you hit that brick wall and you think, I don't understand, because the signs were so clear. Like, why did this path lead me here? And there's always something to learn from it. There's always some kind of resistance, or a barrier that needs to be broken down within you. And it is always ultimately for your greatest good. So you do need to trust. Where did we see trust? Did we see trust somewhere here? You do faith, right? Faith. Again, it's not for me to tell you about your own path. I think you're definitely on your own spiritual journey here, and you're gonna find that missing piece. You're gonna know something. My thing with pearls is, and like, pearls of wisdom are fantastic, but sometimes when I see a pearl being offered, I'm reminded that they're very transitory. I believe if you put a pearl in vinegar, it'll disintegrate. Where comparatively, the diamond, when you learn the tough lessons and you get that kind of diamond core, that's with you forever. Then diamonds are one of the toughest substances known to mankind. So that pressure forges this indomitable. It comes through with Libra's indomitable spirit. That's very hard to. It doesn't dissolve like a pearl. It's much more solid, right? It's much more fixed. So there's something about that too. There's something else. There's something I've not got to yet. Okay, let's go. I think it's the pearl. It's like inscrutable to me. And as I say that, look what's on the bottom. Inscrutable. It needs closer scrutiny. Whatever that pearl represents to you. And there's the dog. One of my favourite cards, actually. The dog and the mice. The dog, 10 of Cups energy. Who makes you happy? Who do you enjoy spending time with? Who do you want around you? Friends, family, relationships. Who brings you joy? Who makes you feel like a good person? Like, what situations leave you with a smile on your face? Do more of that. And the dog to me is a very, very loyal energy. So this could be representing a very loyal friend, as just somebody you know, right? Friend, family, co-worker, whoever. Somebody who's very, very loyal. Somebody who's very genuine. Dogs to me, kind of similar to like that Libran energy of like the Queen of Swords. It's very truthful. It's very honest. You know, you can normally tell. You look at a dog, you can tell if it's happy. You look at a dog, you can tell if it's sad. It wears its heart on its sleeve, I want to say. This particular dog as well always talks to me about taking the lead in your own life. It's like he's offering the lead, like he's offering, you know, will you lead me? But at the same time, he's not wearing the collar. He's almost looks like he's wearing like pearls. Yeah, he is. He's wearing pearls. That's interesting. I've never noticed that before. So it's he can lead himself. He can take control of his own life. He, she, they, right? And there's this ball here. It's like there's a question about being tethered, so almost like the devil energy, right? With the lead, with the control. So taking control, and then the ball as well, which is being left to one side. So I heard walk with me, walk with me. So you know, do you want to? You know, do you want to play? Do you want to, like, what do you want? Honestly, from the heart, what do you want? From the center, right? The starfish is talking to me now about the heart center. The need as well, like a hunger, like an emotion, because it's his mouth, right? It's his mouth. I think the center of the starfish is its mouth. So it's like, what are you hungry for? What is that need? What is that truthful desire? Finally, as your advice card, what I'm going to do is pull a couple of words, and then I'm going to read this card because I love the description of this card. It's a wonderful, wonderful card. And I'll leave you with that. Okay, so this should help your understanding in some sort of way, hopefully. Or it could just be signs. Heart. Yeah, look. I can't see what I'm pulling out, by the way. I didn't know I was going to pull out the word heart. What does your heart want? That's it. They're telling me that's it. What am I doing here? Reading that card. So, the lovers. And they're telling me the heart wants what the heart wants. Is that Romeo and Juliet? I watched, my daughter's doing Shakespeare at the moment in school, which I'm really excited about. I spent a year studying Shakespeare plays at university. Always been a big fan of Shakespeare since I was in school. I have taken her to see plays before. We've seen Cymbeline and A Midsummer Night's Dream live, like live performances. And yeah, she hadn't seen Romeo and Juliet, and she was doing like a project on it. And yeah, so we watched Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet last night, which was an experience. She was very judgmental, which actually is quite healthy, I think. Right, the lovers. Love is always a choice. Look at us. The bond we have is eternal. Our love is altogether emotional, spiritual, and sexual. It is the deepest love ever. Okay, you've got deep here as well, look deep. Depth. It is the deepest love ever, yet it's a love we fought for. Choices had to be made, and it's your turn now to choose love and fight for love. You have, as we had, to be clear about your own values and to stand for them. No love is ever possible if you are not true to yourself first. If you are facing a dilemma, honesty is the only way to get you through the shadows of doubt. For the decision you'll make is to be essential at this point in your life. Again, you're at this huge turning point. Again, it feels like a huge ego death. Never forget there are only two paths. Interesting, only two paths. One is wrong, the other one is love. Okay, only two paths. One is wrong, the other is love. You may have multiple paths. The only right choice is love. Keywords: special bond, attractiveness, soulmate, choices, being true to oneself. All right, I hope that was helpful to you all. Do take care of yourselves, Taurus, because this is it's been a bit of a tough reading. So if you're going through some of the stuff that I've talked about there, my heart absolutely goes out to you, and I'm going to spend some time sending you strength after I finish this reading. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, I think that's everything I need to say. I'm approaching the hour mark now, so if you've made it to this point of the video, thank you so much. I do appreciate the likes and subscribes, but you don't have to. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye, guys.